You ever look at your desk, that beautiful landscape of controlled chaos, and then you open your laptop to this perfectly ordered digital world and just think, what is wrong with me? Well, it turns out probably nothing. So stick around because we're about to dive into a fascinating paradox that might just make you feel a whole lot better about that pile of papers.
Right, so we've all heard that old saying, a cluttered desk means a cluttered mind. It's been repeated forever, like it's some kind of universal truth. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the mess is actually a sign of something completely different? I mean, does this look familiar to you? On one side, you've got your physical world, stacks of paper, a little graveyard of coffee mugs, sticky notes that have basically formed their own ecosystem. But then, on the other side, your digital world, perfectly nested folders, a color-coded system that would make a librarian weep with joy, file names so logical you could teach a class on them. It feels like these two worlds are at war with each other.
So, what is going on here? What's happening in our brains that creates this organizational split personality? Are we meticulously organized, or are we a total mess? Well, the answer, it turns out, is a brilliant bit of both. Yeah, this isn't random at all. In fact, there's a name for this whole phenomenon: selective organization. And get this, it's not a character flaw, it's actually a highly evolved mental strategy. Selective organization is, at its core, a tactic. It's your brain actively choosing not to waste precious mental energy on organizing stuff that just isn't critical to your main goals. Think of it as ruthless prioritization, but it's all happening on a subconscious level. And this just perfectly captures the whole idea. Let me read this quote because it's just so good. If your desk looks like a disaster zone, but your ideas are perfectly categorized, you aren't disorganized, you see? You're just focusing your organizational power where it's going to have the biggest impact. Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, a simple way to think about it is that your brain has a limited battery for the day, and it is constantly looking for ways to save power for the tasks that really, truly matter. The whole game is about conservation. Every little bit of mental energy you spend alphabetizing your spice rack is energy you can't spend solving a complex problem at work or structuring your next big creative project. And your brain knows this, even if you don't always realize it. And this is basically the logic it follows. It's a super simple 3-step process. First, it scans your entire environment, both physical and digital. Then it identifies what's actually critical for your most important goals. And finally, and this is the key part, it strategically ignores the rest. That pile of mail isn't a priority right now. The structure of your project proposal is. You can almost see your brain making these calculations, allocating its energy budget. Tidying the physical desk? Okay, that gets filed under low priority, gets minimal energy. But structuring your ideas for a core project? Whoa, that's high priority. That gets the full force of your cognitive power. And this brings us to what I think is the most important part of all of this. We need to reframe how we think about it. For way too long, we've seen this kind of selective messiness as some kind of personal failing, but the science is telling us it might be the exact opposite. So what you might have been calling laziness or disorganization is in fact a sign of incredible efficiency and smart prioritization. It's not proof of a cluttered mind, it's the result of a mind that's so focused it refuses to get bogged down by tasks that don't really move the needle. So let this really sink in, because this is the big takeaway, that productive mess is not a flaw. It is a highly effective, focused strategy, and it's being deployed by a brain that knows exactly what it's trying to accomplish. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What so-called mess in your life might actually be the evidence of your intense focus on something that truly matters? Thinking about that might just change the way you see yourself.